Hello, my name is Mohammad Munir Hussain, and this is week second of OOP project, the game Dhoodhwala. This week I wasn't able to do much work on it due to some personal work and as well as other assignments due. However, I was able to make all the game designs as well as get all the sprite sheets as you can see here, as well as other game objects that are necessary like the power-ups. Um, so yeah, so we completed all the game. We completed all the game levels. We got the animations that we need, and as well as the enemy and the player sprite sheets and the power ups. So that was for this week. This is not much. This of course is not enough. So
Hello
however,
guys, this is Dishant
I
Kareem
next week
and this is the second
the
progress
plan is
video
to
of
double
our OOP
down
project.
and do a lot
Okay, so we started
more
working
work in
on our
terms of
respective
coding as
tasks
well.
from the UML.
Thank you.
This is our project's UML and the pink part here is the part that I will be working upon. Okay, so as you can see that it basically has classes related to our enemy and different types of obstacles and traps that the player is going to come across in the game. So I started working on animating the enemy. The sprite sheet that I use for the enemy is this, and after some coding the enemy is up and running. So basically we will have two kinds of enemies. One will follow you until he dies or the player dies and will try to damage you. The second will only throw the barrels towards the player and try to damage his health. The animation for the enemy throwing barrels is, I'm going to show you right now, is this. So here it is, the enemy is throwing barrels towards the player. So these are the two kinds of enemies that are going to appear in our game. So next I will be working on moving the platforms that our game have and detecting collisions between the barrel and the player. This will be my next task. Thank you.
Hi, this is Fatma here, and if in week 2 I was particularly responsible for designing the screens, especially the splash screen. To figure that out, I started off with the L texture class, which is used to render images on the screen, and we have basic functions like set alpha, which can be used to change the transparency of the texture or the image on the screen. We then have the screen class, which forms the base class for all different kinds of screen that the game will be using. So it's a very important class. And we have the L texture. We have two L texture pointers over here. One is for the background image itself, and the other is for the font sheet sprite. For the splash screen, this is not particularly necessary to have, and hence, if you see over here, it's actually set to null, while the BG image is taking a pointer to a texture. The texture is then rendered on the screen using the LTexture render texture function. In the main class, in the main we have a basic init function to initiate SDL in its window. Then we have the load media, where we are loading the splash texture from our images, and we have within the main a function which checks an if condition which checks if if splash is true, which means that the splash screen is running, and it then renders a splash screen on the window. Within the if condition, it's also the transparency of the splash screen is also decreasing continuously using the set alpha function. So if we run it, you can see how it's fading. Thank you.
Hello everybody, this is week 2 of OOP project and I have been giving the work of the main player, that is the Dhoodhwala itself. So creating any player in the video game, I think the first task is to bring it on the screen and to make it playable by the person who is playing the game. So for our main character, the Dhoodhwala, we had to select a character, a visualization for the screen, and based on the availability of sprites and sprite sheets on the internet, we had to go with Aladdin, as you can see on the screen. So we had animating Aladdin, we made different kind of animations with Aladdin's character doing different things through this sprite sheet. As you can see him doing different things on the sprite sheet, as such as running, or yeah, dashing, jumping, or gliding, and all the animations of the character are supposed to be made from this sprite sheet. So at first, in order to experiment a bit, I just took the sprites from the sprite sheet and made just a simple animation of him running, as you can see on the screen. After this, I connected these animations to keyboard movements so that the player can control these. As you can see from the code, that from this code I have written, when I run it, our character appears on the main screen and he is standing still. But when I press the key, as you can see on the console, that the left key was pressed and the player is running, and when I press the down key, he ducks. So this may not appear as much work, but it's important to keep in mind that, as you can see on the screen, all the animations are made up of frames, and each frame contains a single sprite. So all the sprites had to be mapped from the sprite sheet in terms of coordinates and width and height of each sprite, and then utilized to make the animation, which itself is a very taxing work, in order to make the animation fluid and fluent. But hopefully further progress will be covered in the next upcoming weeks. Thank you.